It really wasn't in the docket for me to be doing a review of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, but I just watched this movie with my first grader, and I have to talk about it. So I just finished watching Pee-wee's Big Adventure with my son. He loves a good comedy. He loves to laugh. He loves silly movies. And I thought, hey, Pee-wee, it's ridiculous. He loves Blippi. I thought if he could put up with Blippi, he could handle Pee-wee Herman. So we watched the movie together, and he loved it. He laughed. We had a good time together. But here's the thing. Watching this movie for the first time in almost 30 years, seeing it as an adult for the first time, I have to tell you, this is almost a horror movie. And I'm going to make my case on that. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not The Exorcist, but this movie uses real horror movie elements in its creation. And I shouldn't be surprised by that because it was directed by Tim Burton. This is Tim Burton's first feature film. I didn't know that, or if I knew that, I forgot about it. But this movie has Tim Burton's thumbprints all over it. The nightmare sequences, and yes, this is a kid's movie with nightmare sequences. There's disjointed angles. There's odd camera angles. And I even noticed some similarities with Alfred Hitchcock's movie Psycho, the music in particular. Danny Elfman did the music in this movie, and Danny Elfman is famous for doing Tim Burton movies. He does an excellent job. I love Danny Elfman's music, but he definitely has a style. When Pee-wee Herman's bike was stolen, I noticed a striking similarity to the opening sequence of Psycho. Now, I'm not talking about the yeek, yeek, yeek music. I mean the actual score of the film. When Pee-wee's bike gets stolen and they play that eerie music, it's shockingly similar to the music from the movie Psycho. If you don't believe me, pull them up and listen. I'm not going to do it here because of copyright reasons, but trust me, they're very, very similar. Pee-wee Herman is a man-child in a bow tie, but he's actually somewhat of a sociopath. Sorry, I'm not a psychiatrist. Forgive me if I'm getting these terms wrong. Sociopath, psychopath. He doesn't even notice that other people have feelings. The girl in the movie who has a crush on Pee-wee, she wants to spend more time with him. He brushes her off. When they get into a fight and they make up, he says, "Will you still help me find my bike?" He only cares about himself. In a shockingly large way, he is an absolute narcissist. If this were an actual horror movie, that would be the precursor for him having dead bodies in his basement. Just not in the basement of the Alamo. He also seems a little bit like a cult leader. People love Pee-wee Herman and they follow him and they listen to him and they love him too much. Take, for example, the posse he assembles to help him find his bike. He keeps them in that room for a really long time. They make a joke about it that they've been there for hours, but he wants to make sure they know everything about what he wants them to know. And they stay there. He's charismatic. He has people that follow him. He really acts like a cult leader. And if this were a different kind of movie, that could have taken a darker turn. They played off for silliness and laughs because it is a kid's movie. It is a comedy. But if you look at it through that lens, he could turn into a Saw villain pretty easily. Now let's talk about some of these nightmare sequences. He has a nightmare of his bike in hell being tortured by demons, and this is a kid's movie. It's uncomfortable to watch. It's just weird for a comedy for a kid's movie. Then we get to the Large Marge sequence. This is actual supernatural horror. He gets picked up by a trucker, and she tells him all about a horrible crash where somebody just died terribly. Then she turns into a claymation monster. It's a little bit silly, but my first grader actually got scared at that and covered his face. He was legitimately scared. And I felt sorry for the kid because he just wanted a silly movie where he laughed, and he's cowering in fear. Now, granted, he's a first grader. He's going to be afraid of things that other people aren't. But still, in a silly kids comedy, to have a supernatural horror element was kind of blew my mind. And then when he gets to the truck stop, and apparently she was a ghost all along, brings in a supernatural element to the movie. Do we really need ghosts and terror in a kid's movie like this? I found it rather amusing. Watching this movie as an adult, watching it through that lens is actually quite fascinating. And then at the very end, where people are watching the Pee-wee movie, and he's, going from person to person, giving out concessions, that's sort of him, regrouping with his cult. These people are just there to drink the Kool-Aid, so to speak. Like I said earlier, this isn't The Exorcist. It really is a zany, silly comedy, and it is mostly kid-appropriate. But it has those elements just under the surface, which makes them so insidious. And I think it's very, very interesting. Tim Burton did a good job with this movie. Later Tim Burton movies, I'm sort of iffy on them, but his early movies were fantastic. Beetlejuice is one of my favorite movies of all time, and you can really see those elements in Tim Burton's directing in this movie. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have you ever noticed that Pee-wee's Big Adventure is actually a bit of a horror movie? Thanks for stopping by my channel. You can purchase my novel Death Siren and my other books at Amazon.com, and links in the description below to my books and my social media. Until next time, folks.